Brought to you by Knights of Awakening. This is the Labyrinth. So, anyone who listens to the Labyrinth knows that I put a big emphasis on energy work and mysticism. And there's a reason for this. I don't think magic or mysticism works very well without energy work. I've been debated on this numerous times by numerous people. But no one's managed to get me to sway my opinion or my view of how these things work, partially because everything I've seen suggests that the focus, the intensity, and the direction of will that is found in energy work provides a very good basis and has very good foundations in classical magic, in things like demonology and ritual work and all of these other things. So I have to hit that first before we get into the main bulk of this episode, because you may tune into this and be like, whoa, the episode says reaching out. What are we reaching out for? Reaching out is the most commonly used term in mysticism as it concerns energy work or emotional intensity or anything that you use to empower the working. It is, bar none, the most often used phrase, and for good reason too. Reaching out is the core of what we do in a lot of energy work methods and empowering things. So what does it mean when they're talking about reaching out? Well, they're obviously, in the books and media that you'll read and techniques that you'll see, they're obviously not talking about raising your arm outward. Although, it's not a bad exercise, and we're going to get into that. What it means to reach out is to extend your senses, your feelings, your emotional and energetic self. You're there probably going, Charles, I can't extend my emotions, they're inside of me, and my senses are tied to my body, and this is true. I won't argue that point at all. But you can expand your awareness outside of focusing on the physical body, and while those senses are reproduced from a physical standpoint, your awareness goes outward. And it's such a core principle that you would think we'd see more of it, but we don't. We don't see nearly enough of this in a lot of older works, or even in some newer works. You have a big divide in mysticism between people who write grimoires that have a lot of information about this demon or this spirit or that spirit or this energy method or that energy method without getting into the basic principles of focus, will, and intensity as a core part of what you're doing. So when we use this term, we're talking about projecting your energy outward, projecting your emotional state, your sense of self outward. And what we're really doing is we're applying one of the most basic rules of energy work. Okay, everyone, if you've missed this rule in your energy work, this is the time. Where your focus goes, so does your energy. It's really that simple. At the end of the day, if your focus is on negative things, you're going to get a negative energy outcome. Not too long ago, I did a KOA episode that no one's ever going to hear, because when I went into it, this Labyrinth episode, it just wasn't what I wanted when it was done. It was very negative. It wasn't focusing on how to improve or the good qualities of one art over the other. It was focusing on the bad qualities of one art over the other. And I sat down, I listened to it, I started to edit it, and I said, no, this doesn't make the cut. This isn't who I want to be, and this isn't what I want to focus on. And if I put this out there, then on some level, in my heart of hearts, I'm saying this is what it means. This is what it takes. And I really didn't want to go that road. So it's important that you understand where your focus goes, that's where your energy is going to go. There are a lot of exercises that use this. So we're going to hit on a real simple one first, and that is energy awareness of the self. And then we're going to move on to how to expand that to reach out. That's right, you're going to reach out before the day is out. It is my hope that you too will reach out and not hold up your arm like an idiot. So, to do that first, I'm going to wind up making you hold up your arm like an idiot. But not yet. Not yet. First, you're going to sit down. You're going to take a few deep breaths and get calm and relaxed. You're going to focus on deep breathing. So you breathe all the way in, but not so much that you strain, and then all the way out, but not so much that you strain. This is an old method that a lot of people call Qigong breathing. The idea being that you're inhaling to about 75 to 80% of your lung capacity, but not 100. And then exhaling to 75%, 80% of your capacity, but not 100, because your goal is to improve your breath rate, improve your energy flow. While you do this, focus on the feeling of the air coming in and the air going out. Focus on the feeling of that exchange of energy in the body that occurs when you breathe deeply, when you're aware of your breathing. And then I want you to set your intent after you've done this for a little bit, after you've enjoyed some deep breaths and you're kind of relaxing a little bit. Set your intent on feeling your body, on an awareness of your body. If you have chronic pain or other conditions, this may be uncomfortable, so don't focus with too much intensity, just enough that you are aware of your body, because even someone with chronic pain, you're going to have parts of your body that don't hurt, And that may sound funny. Maybe your ears don't hurt right now or your eyebrows, but you're not aware of them because you're focusing on the pain. Instead, you're going to gain an awareness of every feeling in your body. You may, if you don't have chronic pain or anything like that, you may become aware of pain that you didn't realize you were ignoring. You may have old injuries or old broken bones that you just kind of ignore. This awareness is the first step. You're learning to become aware of the body as an energy system and that feeling of that energy system. And then all I want you to do is take your hands, palms upward, and focus on the center of your palms. Very simply, continue the deep breathing. Remember, it's very important to breathe. One of the oldest, I believe it's a Chinese saying, says, whenever breathing stops, all problems begin. I would never disagree with such a concept. If you have stopped breathing at any point during this recording that you're listening to, or at any point in your day, I highly encourage you to continue breathing. If you've stopped breathing for more than a few minutes, I highly encourage you to have already gotten a hold of a medical professional. Breathing is very important. If you've stopped breathing during this, then you need to keep breathing. But more importantly, you should keep doing that energy breathing while you do this. You focus on the palms of your hand, and you just pour your attention into it, as if though you are focusing on the feeling of a ball in the hand, in the very center of the palm, and you continue to do that until such time as you can feel something in your hands. And what you've done is you've extended the energy in your body into your palms. You do this all the time. You're not aware that you do it all the time. You do this every time you move a muscle. For the next part, I want you to do something a little silly. And I have students do this all the time, and they always tell me they think I'm crazy when I ask them to the first time. I want you to try, either during this recording or at some other point, to move an arm by utilizing the muscles one at a time or all at once, but paying attention to each muscle. Force the muscles to move so that you are controlling the arm via complete attention to the muscles. So in the same way that you can tense and flex a muscle to move the arm into a jerking motion, I want you to smoothly raise your arm. Most people won't be able to do that. If you're very well trained or you do a lot of weightlifting, you might be able to because you've got a better sense of your muscles than most other people. But it still won't be easy. And the reason it won't be easy is because normally we utilize energy in a physical sense without thinking about all the intricate processes. And this is probably what kills us more than anything in mysticism. Too many people want to explain too much without giving the practical method of how to do something. If you sit there and you have to think about the yin and the yang and the flow of the energy through the universe and the cosmos and how the dragon spirals up the kundalini, you will never move your arm, and you probably will never move much energy. But instead, if you do it on instinct, you learn to use it the same way you do your arms and your legs, the same way you move your head or your eyebrows, then you have a much better ability to reach out, which we're going to do in a second. We're almost there. You're almost ready to reach out. So you tried to move your arm. Odds are you either got your arm raised or you smacked yourself upside the head. Fantastic. Either one is acceptable. And that's great, because now you know that you're moving that arm with something more than just muscular contraction. You're moving it through a force of your will. For those that have severe injuries or missing a limb or things like that, this is not me insulting your willpower at all. The human body can only do what it has the means to do. Just as in magic, you can only manifest where roads are available to manifest through. But for most people, you get a really good understanding of why this works from doing this exercise. And if you have severe injuries that prevent you from normally moving that limb in that way, do this in some other way. Do this exercise, the basis, the core of it, with some other limb or some other movement. It's still very valid. So long as you have movement in your body, this is going to work for you. Now, from that, you raised your arm or didn't raise your arm. Now, what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to have you reach out with your hands. Remember I said I was going to have you look like an idiot before this was done? It's time. It's time, folks. You're going to put your arms out in front of you for a few minutes. Continue breathing. At no point during this recording should you stop breathing. And just focus on that feeling of what it's like to reach outward with your arms. I want you to pay very close attention to the details of what this feels like, of the general sense of reaching out. Most people have an idea of what reaching out feels like, but whether you're advanced or you're very new, this could be a good warm-up reminder workout. And as you're reaching out there, continue your breathing, focusing on that feeling. You should get a certain sensation of what it means to reach out, of the concept of reaching out. Now, put your arms back on your legs or by your side, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm not really asking for anything too complex here. You do not need to do the flying dog, half lotus, squirrel position for me. I just want your hands back in a comfortable position again, because eventually your arms will wear out from reaching outward, because muscles only support so much weight for so long. Now, from that, I want you to close your eyes, continue your breathing. At no point should you stop breathing. I encourage all of my listeners to continue breathing every day. It's very important that you breathe to me, because when you stop, I get worried. As you're breathing, I want you to recall, as clearly as you can, this feeling of reaching outward. What it means to you to reach outward in this way. This is important because if you visualize and can recall the feeling of reaching out with your arms, you can start to focus on extending this into other concepts. Now, we already established that where you put your focus, your energy goes. And now your focus is on reaching outward. So your energy has now been extended through this memory of focusing on limbs to have reached out. You can change that focus, that visualization, that forced sensation, if you will, to move in a different direction or to expand further outward. This gets into why in a lot of mysticism, and also why we see people do it in Hollywood without realizing why the director felt to tell them to do this, why the actor felt like this was a good visualization, that people, when they're reaching out in any kind of science fiction or fantasy to manipulate something at a distance, they extend their arm. After all, if you've got a universal flow, a powerful field of energy that connects and binds things, or is the undercurrent of all existence, why would you need to move your arms? Well, you don't. But the visualization conveys an understanding of a technique that is instinctually known to all of us. You already know how to do this. I guess I should have told you that at the beginning. Now, with that, with having reached out the second time without moving your arms, okay? Your arms should have remained relaxed. You should have visualized and felt the arms moving upward again. And maybe even change direction a little bit. Move the arms, reach them out even further. The next thing I want you to do is focus on reaching out with all of your body so that your body expands outward. The feeling of sensation of reaching permeates throughout the whole of the body so that you are reaching out with all of yourself, all of your essence, not 2 arms and 2 legs, but that core. See, all of us think in the sense of a core. We all have a midsection. And in that, we are programmed from birth to understand ourselves as a core with limbs that do things. But that core also reaches out. And in this, what you're doing is you're actually reaching out into the universe, into the flows of energy that already exist, and you're tapping into them innately. While you're breathing, continue that breathing. And as you do that breathing, you're actually going to be drawing energy in from this. Now, I know there are people out there who say, Charles, how does this help me with my mysticism? You've taught me nothing. I can only reach out. Well, this extends your ability to use your senses outside of your body because you can feel things and get intuition impressions while you're reaching out. But also, if you pour this towards a goal or an idea or a symbol or an item, you are now pouring your essence into that. Now, I haven't given you all of the keys to the kingdom on this one. That would be impossible in one recording. What I have done is provide you some simple exercises that I hope will get your mind moving in some conventional or unconventional directions, depending on where you're at. Get you thinking about how this works. You can do this without ever doing any kind of energy work meditation. You can still perform magic and you can be successful. But it's a lot of repetition, and it's really, usually, my experience, not as effective as a little bit of focus. Why? Because that repetition, you are extending 1/10 of your awareness. You may have other things going on in your mind. You may even have perfect focus, but you haven't extended your understanding of your physical self into that action. You haven't extended your understanding of the vast cosmos into that action. That's why you reach out. It's a big part of it as well. In that reaching outward, that understanding of the universe as a larger place, of this infinite that is out there, you start to draw in that. And when you reach out to empower a goal, or on a focus, or on a visualization, or into an object, you're now drawing on a portion of the infinite. You're drawing on the portion of the infinite that you can understand. And of course, with longer meditations like this, using this as a meditation practice, your understanding of the infinite grows greater and you can do more. And those that do it longer or have done it longer, of course, have a greater reach. And those that don't do it at all have a lesser reach in this respect. And some people are gifted. And some people are not gifted. Some people are severely hampered. And for them, I suggest more visualization. If you can't do it by feel, do it by visualization. And if you can't do it by visualization, do it by sound. Imagine your voice projecting outward and echoing back from the cosmos. Tie in your understanding of your physical senses of the infinite self to the infinite out. And you will have success in your mysticism. Deny this. Run from this, and you will find your ability to manifest severely hampered, in my experience. But hey, what the heck do I know? I'm just your host for the Labyrinth, hoping that you awaken the night within.